I'm Eric Zencey, fellow at the Gund, finding the right button, and coordinator of our Vermont GPI project. I practiced this talk a while ago and went 4 minutes and 10 seconds. So it should be okay, because we're not using all the time in between, right? Except when I timed it, I didn't say that. Or that. Okay, here we go, 4 minutes. The Genuine Progress Indicator is a project that's designed to correct some problems with gross state product, or GDP. What's wrong with GDP or GSP? I'm just going to use one of them and save time. Well, it doesn't measure some of the benefits that we get, economic benefits we get from our informal economy. It doesn't count costs, doesn't charge costs against benefits, and it counts some of the costs actually as benefits, as in when we replace all of that stuff that got wiped out by storms. That looks like progress in GDP. It's actually charged as a cost. So GPI corrects these, and it does so. It ends up being an estimate of a monetized measure of net sustainable economic well-being. How does it do that? It takes a basic figure for gross state product and adjusts it with 26 different adjustments, beginning with income inequality, running through a whole bunch of environmental costs, which is why it's an approximation of sustainable well-being, and also some social costs and benefits, including the value of volunteer work, value of household work, and you'll notice in here, over on the left column, it counts the ongoing services of the stuff we already own, which GDP doesn't. Last May 2012, the state legislature passed an act commissioning the Gund to compile a GPI for the state of Vermont and saying that they would do what they could to use it in their economic planning and decision making. So we began the work of compiling the indicator set. There are 26 different adjustments, and it isn't just a matter of finding 26 numbers. A lot of them have a lot of conceptual work behind them. This one is relatively simple. In order to get the cost of climate change, we add up the cost per ton of carbon that comes from the 4 different kinds of carbon fuels that could be used. We have a spreadsheet. It's got 26 or 27 pages, each one of which tracks the indicator from 1960 up to 2011. We issued a kind of executive summary with John as the lead author that came out last July. And you can generate graphs that compare GPI to GSP. You can look at the different elements of the GPI set, the environmental, the social, and the economic, and see the relationship to GPI overall. You can go per capita, you can do lots of interesting things, and here we end up with the same comparison. There's a technical report that's coming out any day now. Some people at the state are very interested in this because they want to begin incorporating it in their economic planning. So some of the main conclusions in the executive summary were that GPI growth last year outpaced GSP growth pretty significantly, except it was 1 year. If you look at the decades, GPI growth may be slowing. It's actually tapering off a bit. It seems that most of the GPI growth last year was driven by a decline in income inequality. The country as a whole had an historic high income inequality last year. Vermont's income inequality wasn't as high as the rest of the country's, and in part that's Vermont. There's a suggestion within the data that takes more work to tease out that Vermont's environmental laws have done much to protect our GPI. The work ahead. Thanks.